Hello everybody, I'm Robert Goldberg. I formerly worked at the Lincoln Arts Council until a few weeks ago. Now I'm actually on the board. I joined the board so that I can join the fight for the arts in Lincoln, because hope is not lost, and I'm here to tell you that and to encourage you to support Lincoln Arts as we move forward. A lot of you probably want to know what happened. Well, simply put, we ran out of money. Lincoln Arts Council has done a lot of programming. We've grown, and we probably grew too quickly. But here we are, and we found ourselves in a position we never thought we'd be in, but in a position we're ready to dig ourselves out of. The board told us a few weeks ago, the staff, that with tears in their eyes and tears in our eyes as we heard the news, that we were forced to suspend operations moving forward until we can reconstitute and figure out what comes next and figure out how we can get back on track. And I thought I'd find myself really sad about that, and of course I was. But actually I found myself feeling really motivated and excited to pick things up and to put it all back together, and I'm not sure why. And I was thinking about it, and I thought perhaps the reason why is the arts themselves. And I have a little fella here with me. He's always by my side. That is Beethoven. He's on my desk whenever I do work. I happen to be sitting here at my piano, which is my comfort and my safe space. It so happens that we got the news about Lincoln Arts Council as I was heading out of town to visit one of my sons who's at college in North Carolina at Duke. I have two sons, one's at UNL, one's at Duke. And here's the strange thing. My son at Duke is in the orchestra, and that weekend they had on the concert scheduled Beethoven's Choral Fantasy. Now, this piece is one of my guilty pleasures. I think it's one of the greatest pieces ever written, and I will die defending it, even though many people will mock me. Some people think it's rather silly. But what it is Beethoven's ultimate declaration to the world that is the arts that saves humanity. Specifically, it's the arts that saved him. In about 1796, I think, or so, when he was about 26, he started going deaf and was completely deaf by the time he was in his early 30s, mid-30s, in about 1812 or so. And of course, he struggled through that whole period. And one would think that a struggle like that would cause someone to cave in on oneself, especially, imagine this, a composer who was going deaf. But Beethoven turned it upside down. And the reason Beethoven is because he took that adversity and he used it to inspire him. And the choral fantasy really is the ultimate expression of that. In fact, the chorus sings in that piece at the end, und Kraft, 3 times in German, the power of art. And what's crazy about this story is that I've been to many concerts in my life, but I've never heard the choral fantasy live. I had always waited to. And it turns out, just 2 days after getting the news about Lincoln Arts Council, there I was, hearing Beethoven's choral fantasy. Incredible as I expected, and all the more special because my son was playing the violin in the orchestra. So just really, what a special moment. But of course, it got me to be thinking, and it's really inspired me to make me realize that the arts can save us. And, I'm not going to be coy about it as in, they don't save lives the way perhaps a neurosurgeon saves lives. No, they don't save physical lives. The arts save our souls. And this is the work that we do with upstArt. We work with adults and children, people who don't have voices. We give voices to those people who perhaps feel judged can create a piece of art or a piece of music and not feel judged. Someone who's lonely can find company in the arts. People who self-doubt can become validated. This is how the arts save us. We think of the arts as entertainment, but it's so much more. We all can think of a moment where the arts have moved us, whether it be a movie, a piece of music. And that's what upstArt has been about. It's been about using the arts to uplift people. So just for example, we work with a number of organizations, women who are coming out of domestic violence abuse situations at Voices of Hope. We used an artist there with them who did journaling with them, and they used art and the idea of self-exploration to work through their trauma and to come to peace with a lot of what's in their lives. We work with the Autism Family Network, for example, doing music with children as well as art with young adults and children. Also, by the way, and during those autism classes, we have the parents in the back, moms primarily, I'm ashamed to say as a dad, who have a few minutes to themselves to also support each other and discuss how life is. We work at the Bridge Behavioral, which is, we have Danny Renault, a wonderful artist, who goes there each week and does watercolors with these guys. Many of them are in substance abuse recovery, and it's been transformative, we hear from the executive director. These guys just really find a voice in the art. We do Pathfinder, which is the school at the Lancaster County Youth Detention Center, where we do art and music. We've worked with kids at Cedars doing improv, poetry, and beat poetry, and poetry slams, which was a real amazing way for them to access their inner voices. We have so many other organizations. We work as well as an organization that works with blended families, families who have adopted children from Africa or Asia, and we work with them to bring cultural art and music into their homes so that they can each understand a bit more about who they all are and where they come from and all the similarities that we have. So many other projects. I haven't even mentioned 27 CLC after-school arts projects in Title I schools, summer camps, many other things. The point here is not to tell you in detail every program we do, but to tell you the scope of what we're doing. And by the way, I recommend that you go over to our website, and actually perhaps I'll give you a link by where you can see a full list of all our programming. So, going back to Beethoven, I'm here because I feel that the arts can save us. And Beethoven has always inspired me throughout my life. I, like anyone, have had dark days and less dark days, and Beethoven's been there in my darkest hours. And I think that the arts are there for all of us in our darkest hours, and this is our dark hour for the Lincoln Arts Council. We need your help. And if you can appreciate what the arts do, please find it in your heart to make a contribution to what we are doing here at Lincoln Arts to save this wonderful, wonderful programming so we can grow it back up and get back out into the community. I must tell you too that Beethoven has actually played a role in our upstArt programming directly. In 2020 was the 250th anniversary of Beethoven's birth, and it was a huge national celebration, international celebration, that got ruined by COVID, by the way. But nonetheless, we started an amazing program with artist Tom Myers at Campbell Elementary. Tom created this huge mural in the wall that was inspired by memories of the fourth graders at that school. Tom chatted with them, had conversations with them, wrote down their memories, and he put them all into this mural. But hidden in this mural was the word joy, deliberately, because of the Ode to Joy by Beethoven, that was in this mural, I think, in 27 different languages. That number being the number of people or the number of languages spoken by students at Campbell Elementary, which just goes to show you the number of international students in Lincoln, Nebraska, where you would hardly expect to find such diversity. So it was a wonderful way to put a nod to Beethoven and to all those cultures in this mural. And actually our plan had also been to create and write a new school song. We were going to take the Ode to Joy melody, and we were going to have the fourth graders write words to it that would write their own school song. Unfortunately, it was all interrupted by COVID, but that was the plan, and it was all going swell. In fact, we had some musicians from Lincoln Symphony who did an assembly for the whole school. They introduced the kids to Beethoven, played some music by Beethoven, talked about this thought and idea of adversity and overcoming obstacles through music, and what an inspiration someone like Beethoven could be. So Beethoven belongs in upstArt, belongs everywhere, and is a real inspiration to me and hopefully you as well. I actually have some testimonials from some of our artists and partners. A lot of them have come in. Thank you to all of you. But I thought, well, I'll add my voice to that as well, because this means as much to me. You know, I'm a bit backstage, really. I don't have the stories to tell the way they do. They have these experiences with these people as they deliver the art. And you should hear some of their testimonials, by the way. The stories are incredible. So I'm just here to make those happen. So I'm going to end with one more mention of Beethoven, because he is now my motto. My life motto is Beethoven. He wrote a piece called Rage Over a Lost Penny, which I think is suitable here for a number of reasons. A, there Beethoven is, again, turning something upsetting into something wonderful. You know, we can think of the Fifth Symphony, that minor. But it's not a dark symphony. That symphony is about the explosion of light over dark and of resurrection and salvation. So the most exultant expression of the major is at the end of that symphony. So the whole point of the minor is that it can create that major. That's what Beethoven is. And so Rage Over a Lost Penny, I love this piece because presumably the person who's lost their penny is somewhat upset, but Beethoven turns that upside down and makes it a lot of fun. I'll play that recording here at the end of this video. Quick with the word though, the performance I've chosen is Arthur Schnabel. Arthur Schnabel is a wonderful musician, died a long time ago, but he had known for many funny, witty things he would say. One time he came into a studio to record a piece. It was a few minutes late, and he said, "I'm sorry I'm late. I paid 50 shillings for these shifty fillings." He also famously said that it was the space between the notes where the music was to be found. And my favorite Schnabelism of all time was, first of all, Schnabel was famous for just playing where his heart took him. Bad, wrong notes, be damned. And one time, supposedly, someone came up to him after a concert and said, Maestro, wonderful as usual, but if only you'd played a few less wrong notes." And Schnabel apparently turned to the person and said, yes, it would have been better, but it wouldn't have been as good. That's what art teaches us. So I'm going to go out by playing this recording of Schnabel. Another quick connection. Schnabel was born on my wife's birthday a century or so earlier, and he died on my birthday. Not the day I was born, but the same date. So strange connections there. Anyway, enjoy this Rage Over a Lost Penny. Wrong notes and all. It's about the spirit, and I hope it inspires you to make a donation in any amount you can to Nebraska, the Lincoln Arts Council here in Nebraska. So the place to do that, by the way, is just at our website. It's artscene.org, artscene.org, ARTSCENE. Or, of course, just Google Lincoln Arts Council. So enjoy Arthur Schnabel and Beethoven, and thank you for your support.